We're back in the shop and we're about to put the struts on the rear galley hatch. Throughout the build there's been little mini projects that I've kind of dreaded and some projects that I've really looked forward to. This is one of the ones that I've really looked forward to, and I don't really know why. This hatch is pretty heavy. I weighed it the other day. If you weigh it at the midpoint, it's about 62, 63 pounds. So certainly you want, some kind of support to hold it up and some kind of assist to, to raise it up. So anyway, I've been looking forward to doing this. Now, I went to a website called Teardrops and Tiny Travel Trailers, and I found that somebody on there had made a calculator for strut length and for the strength. These are 80-pound strut. And basically, you take some measurements off of your hatch as far as how much it weighs, the lengths of it and whatnot. And in this calculator, you put the numbers in there, and it's supposed to tell you how long of a strut to buy and how many pounds of pressure. So I went with that recommendation, and it was within a couple pounds. I think it came out I needed a 78-pound strut, and this is an 80-pound. So we're just going to try that out and see how it goes. But it's awesome somebody took the time to make that calculator, and hopefully it'll work. Let's try it out. Okay, I got the calculator out, and according to the diagram in the strut calculator, the one end of the strut, that attaches to the actual galley hatch itself, needs to attach it to it a distance from the hurricane hinge. At a distance of 85% of the stroke of the strut. Now this strut is 26.3 inches fully extended and 14 3/4 collapsed. So that's going to give me a 11.55 stroke length. Double checking that. Yeah, 11.55. So I'll multiply that times 0.85 for 85%. And that's going to give me a 9.8% attachment point, or 9.8 inch attachment point from the hinge line to where I'm going to attach it on the strut. So I'll mark that off. And the other end of it that attaches to the galley sidewall, you actually let the fully extended strut, you take one end of it and put it up here where the hinge is, and while it's fully extended, you see where the other end naturally comes to, and that's going to be the attachment point on the galley wall. So I'll mark those positions off, and we'll go from there. So the galley hatch struts are installed by the calculator that I found on the TNTTT website, or Teardrops and Tiny Travel Trailers. And I can't remember the name of the fella that made the calculator and put it on there, but I'll put a link in the comments below. And thank you very much. That's a wonderful calculator. It worked very well. You can see when I close it, you get to a certain point, the struts actually, look at that, they help to pull it closed. I like that. That way it'll compress the seals really well and help to keep it waterproof. And when it comes time to open it, look here, one finger, I can pull it and let go, and it opens on its own. So that calculator worked very, very well. Again, thank you for making that. You probably saved me a lot of hole drilling in the side of my galley walls. One thing I do need to think about is that I'm standing in the middle of the arch of the hatch, and it works out pretty well, but I do have my camper jacked up about 4 inches off the floor. I've got it on some dollies so that I can move it around in the shop. So right now I probably have 5 inches of head space. When I drop it down, I'll probably only have an inch of head space in here. So I may go ahead and tweak the locations of these just a little bit to raise it up a bit. And I kind of hate to do that because it's working so well. But anyway, I can't complain about the calculator. I highly recommend that you use it. So it worked well for me. Originally, I had the little strut mount, the little ball mount. I had it mounted directly to this rib here on the galley hatch. And the little ball was just sticking down, well, actually it was just barely sticking down past this. So what I did is I ended up cutting out a plywood, some Baltic birch plywood. I cut out an extension so that I could drop the ball on the strut mount down a couple more inches. Now when I did that though, I also had to relocate it an inch closer to the hatch. And the reason I did that is you're supposed to mount the ball 85% of the distance from the hinge that the strut stroke is long. So when I dropped it down 2 inches, I had to move it an inch back that way to line that up. But this is working wonderful. Absolutely wonderful, and it looks pretty decent. It doesn't look like anything I've cobbled up, and actually, by doing that, the strut is pretty much vertical now. It's not angled some weird way. So again, I'll close this hatch. When I get it down to right about here, you can let go, and it kind of smacks shut. It helps pull some force on the seal. And again, one hand, you get it up about 1.5 feet and just let go of it. And it opens on its own. This is wonderful. Worked perfect. Again, a huge thank you to the person. I said gentleman earlier. It may have been a lady, so forgive me if it was. But a big, huge thank you to the person that made the calculator for the strut placement. You sure saved me and probably a lot of other people drilling just tons and tons of holes in the galley walls and in the hatch. So I'll put the link to that below. Check that out, and join in there and comment and give him a thanks too. So we'll talk at you later. Have a good one.